Does anyone else think that this is kind of premature, perhaps even a little bit embarrassing, especially without Camila involved? I feel like Fifth Harmony, especially as a quartet and not including Camila, definitely just does not have the kind of cultural cachet to be reuniting at this specific moment in time. It feels a little bit desperate and a little bit like cash grabby, but what cash are we grabbing for? Their last tour together as a quartet was, quite frankly, embarrassing compared to their original run, and it's not as though they were selling out arenas to begin with. Their 727 tour, which was like arguably the peak of their career, went viral several times for having kind of like half empty audiences they were performing to, and that's with Camila. It's 7 years since they broke up, and they have had no #1 albums in the US. They've had no #1 singles. Their biggest single peaked at #4. It's kind of like, well, what are we reviving? Especially when the careers of the solo members have really not gone on to be anything super inspiring. Dinah, Jane, Allie, and Lauren have really floundered a lot since, but I think who this is most embarrassing for, and it saddens me to say, is Normani, because Normani really had all of the cultural cachet and all of the anticipation and hype going for her when Fifth Harmony originally broke up, even before the quartet broke up, and she has like slowly just kind of let that fade away over the years. Dopamine was a great album, and I think instead of focusing on a second project and really finally trying to, for a last-ditch attempt, capitalize on some of that hype that she had, she's instead going back to something that people didn't really care that much about to begin with, which is Fifth Harmony without Camila. Now, it could have been a gag if they had got Camila to come back into the fold. I think the reunion of the warring parties altogether would have been kind of an interesting and cool thing to see. But without her, I think this also kind of rules out a reunion with Camila in the future. And it really just re-emphasizes the fact that only one person got out of Fifth Harmony with a solo career worth mentioning and talking about. And I don't see how these girls are going to be selling out an arena, like with what hits and with what albums. And let's not even get started on new music, because that last album that they did without Camila was boring, is the nicest way to put it. When the Spice Girls came back after 7 years of being apart, they had 3 #1 albums to tour, 9 #1 singles. The Backstreet Boys also had 2 #1 albums, a bunch of singles. It's just not the same caliber. I think it is really interesting that they launched this at the Jonas Brothers show, and I am super interested in the fact that the Jonas Brothers show and their career entirely is just kind of a nostalgia revamp, I guess, career restarter moment. Demi Lovato coming out and having her Camp Rock moment with Joe Jonas, like that was a really interesting and I think viral pushing moment that happened. JoJo also getting to come out and have her moment too. But like, how do we make these moments of nostalgia turn into current relevancy? I don't see that happening for Fifth Harmony. I would go and see them because I'm a harmonizer. Sure, I went to go and see them in Singapore at their last tour when there were legit, I'm not kidding, like 200 or 300 people there in a 2,000 or 3,000 person room. The girls got on stage and looked around and went,